Yes, that's Enrico Caruso singing Santa Lucia. And you will have a chance to hear some music like these Neapolitan songs, like Santa Lucia and others, this week, tomorrow, Wednesday. This is John Pavlova with Access Arts Live and the weekly roundup of organ live streams for the week of August 11th to August 18th, but we're really only talking about August 13th to 17th, which is when we have live streams for you. We have a great lineup for you, which it includes Italian holidays. It includes A Journey to Resurrection. It includes music from both the Baroque and Romantic periods. It includes the organ by itself. It includes the organ with mandolin, the organ with vocals, the organ with the cello. It includes top organist on top organs from Moscow to San Diego. So let's get with the program and start talking about it. But before I go any further, first let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and or LinkedIn. Thanks. So let's get to the first of this week's offerings. We have two live streams coming up for you on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And the first of them is with this indomitable pair of Ave Maria and Dmitry Maximenko. Let me double check my notes on that so I announce this the right way. You can embark on an Italian holiday this Wednesday, August 13th, with the dynamic duo Ave Maria and Dmitry Maximenko on organ and harpsichord, and the renowned Olga Egorova on the mandolin, playing a Rossini, Respighi, Mendelssohn, Bizet, and Italian musical folklore. That would include that Santa Lucia that Pavarotti was about to get into. That's on Wednesday, August 13th, 7 in the evening, European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock on the West Coast in the U.S., and 8 o'clock in the evening in Moscow, where they will be at the Roman Catholic Cathedral. We've talked to you about Ave Maria. She's the resident organist at that Roman Catholic Cathedral, and Dmitry is the resident organist at the Anglican Cathedral in Moscow, and they play together a lot, as you can probably tell from how cozy the photo of the two of them is. What I want to tell you a little bit more about that you might not know. I want to show you another photo of is the mandolin player, Olga Egorova. This is a screenshot that I pulled of Olga Egorova when she was playing with this orchestra, her symphony for mandolin and orchestra. I mean, this is not just your run-of-the-mill mandolin player. She has a symphony in 4 movements called Seventh Heaven, which premiered just a few months ago in April with the Surgut Philharmonic. She has also composed music for children's stories, and look her up. And she does workshops. She does live streams of her own. She's a real comer. I mean, this is like a top mandolin player on a global scale. So if you love the mandolin, you will love that. Let me tell you a little bit about what they'll be playing. It's Italian themed, but it's not all Italian composers. Bizet's Symphony, Part 4 of Bizet's Rome Symphony, the Carnival section. Mendelssohn's Symphony Number 4, the Italian Symphony Part 1. Then they will do these Italian folk songs like Santa Lucia, arranged by Egorova, the mandolin player, Respigi's Bergamasca, Egorova's own piece, Galliano, Mendelssohn's the finale to his Symphony Number 4, and then Florino, Cavallini, Bevignani, Rossini's Tarantella, arranged for mandolin, harpsichord, and organ. Louis Delorme's Tarantella, arranged for mandolin, harpsichord, and organ. And Bevignani's Neapolitan Echo for the same arrangement. So this will be a lovely, complex content, not only organ, but also harpsichord and mandolin by an organist and harpsichordist who know each other inside out and really know how to play together, and by really a top, superb mandolin player. I don't know how you can do better than that. So having said that, let's move on to, but later on Thursday, there's another excellent concert coming up. Let's see if I can get a picture of the other concert for you, of the organist on the next one up. And the next one up is another really top organist. It's Jonathan Moyer. I think Jonathan William Moyer is his full name. This Thursday, you can take a journey to resurrection with Jonathan Moyer, organist from the Oberlin Conservatory and the Church of the Covenant in Cleveland, Ohio, playing works by Dupre, Moyer himself, Liszt, Rogue, and Louis Vierne. That'll be at 7:30 in the evening Eastern Daylight Time, so about 6 hours later than the, something like that. Yeah, 6 hours later than the concert from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. 4:30 on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, and 9:30 Thursday morning down under in Australia, in Sydney, or places like that. But Jonathan Moyer is he's about 50 years old, so he's in the prime of his career. Associate professor of organ at Oberlin and organist at the Church of the Covenant. But he recently spent a year when he was on sabbatical at the Cathedral of Saint-Louis in Blois, France. Blois is a little town in the region around the city of Tours, which is in sort of northwestern France. Lovely area. Anyway, he'll be playing music. The piece by Marcel Dupré is his Symphonie Passion, Opus 23, Part 4, Resurrection. That's a symphony for the organ, not a symphony. Then he'll be playing a piece of his own called Still, and it was inspired by a passage from James Joyce's The Dubliners. One of the stories in there was called The Dead, which is a magnificent story. John Huston made an amazing film about it, and I would strongly recommend it to you if you have not seen that film to see it. It is an absolute jewel. It's about as perfect as a film can get, if you ask me. Anyway, here's the quote from The Dead, which Jonathan Moyer commends to us. His soul swooned slowly as he heard the snow falling faintly through the universe, and faintly falling like the descent of their last end upon all the living and the dead. Wow. Then he'll play Franz Liszt variations on Weinen, Klagen, Sorgen, Sagen. And then there's an intermission because these Methuen memorial concerts are they're full length. It's like 90 minutes. He'll play Lionel Rogue's Apparition from the Ouverture for great organ. And then he will play Louis Vierne Symphony Number 6, Opus 59, Part 4, the Adagio, and Part 5, the finale. Wow. Another great concert, two great concerts then on Wednesday. The organ was the first concert organ built in the United States for the Boston Concert Hall in the 1860s. And then it went into disuse and was taken out of disuse by a millionaire who bought it up. And he had one of the top organ architects at the time design a hall, the Methuen Memorial Music Hall, to fit the organ, to suit the organ, rather than the reverse, which is what is often done. The organ was rebuilt by Aeolian Skinner, Opus 1103 in 1947, and re-regulated in the last 4 or 5 years. It has 4 manuals, 5 divisions, 86 stops, 116 ranks, 6,088 pipes. I think Jonathan Moyer can really play some music for you on that. And I think it's likely he's a man of faith, because among the schools where he studied mentions that he studied at Bob Jones University, and that's one of those Christian universities. So when he talks about a journey to resurrection, he means it. Okay, we then move on to Thursday's live stream, which comes to us from the Truro Cathedral up in Cornwall. But the guy playing it is not very Cornish. All right. Thursday, August 14th, Truro Cathedral invites the new director of music at St. Swithin's Cathedral in Lincoln City, Pavlos Triantaris, to play Bach, Whitlock, Ahadiidakis, Louis Vierne, and more on the venerable Father Willis organ. That was an organ which was, change the order around, delivered by boat from London and installed in 1887. And it has, we're told it has the standard Willis hallmarks, which are, quote, tierce mixtures on the grate and swell, characterful gadacts on the choir, and a small but telling pedal division, unquote. Anyway, about Pavlos Triantaris, he first learned to play the organ in his homeland of Greece, and he didn't start until he was like 19 years old. And he relocated to Bristol in England in 2017 and held a couple other positions at parish churches before assuming his current position. He's also a freelance organist, and he's working on various compositional projects. What's he going to play? He's going to play Bach's Prelude and Fugue number 35 in D minor, BWV 565. He'll play a folk tune from 5 short pieces by Percy Whitlock. He will play Dancing with My Shadow from the fantasy suite, The Smile of La Gioconda. La Gioconda, that's the Mona Lisa. Opus 22, this is by a Greek composer, I think. At least his name is Manos Hadjidakis, which I'm guessing is Greek, but I could be wrong. Then he's going to play Cathedrals from Louis Vierne, Suite number 4, Opus 55, and he'll play the Communion from the Low Mass for the Departed, Opus 62, by Louis Vierne, and then he'll play the Sortie, or the exit song from Ite, Missa Est, Opus 36, number 12, by Charles Paul Florimond Kell, whom I don't know at all. Anyway, so that's another fine concert, and that's for you on Thursday, August 14th. On Friday, there's another, and again, there will be one on Saturday, but on Friday, there's another fine concert coming from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. They have 3 of them this week, so they're not kidding around this week. They're giving Muscovites someplace to go in the summertime and hear beautiful music. And this one will be with vocals. Friday, August 15th, it's another Ave Maria evening at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow with organist Elena Tsybko and award-winning soprano Natalia Pavlova, performing works by Bach, Monteverdi, Couperin, Bolman, Taneyev, and more. That'll be at 8 o'clock Friday evening, 2 o'clock in Europe, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast, and 9 o'clock in the evening in Moscow at that Catholic Cathedral there. Elena Tsybko is an organist at the Moscow Conservatory, where she teaches the organ, so you know she's good. Natalia Pavlova, she has, and there's a picture of Elena. Natalia Pavlova is just an incredible. Her biography is a long biography. I cannot possibly include all of the information about her, but here is one of her stock publicity photos. So you know, I can show you another photo of her. All of her photos are very elegant and very dramatic. A real diva. And her experience, I can just give you a little background on her. She is a descendant of the famous Russian national poet Alexander Pushkin. Studied at the Conservatory of Moscow, where she learned her singing. But then she was at the Russian Academy of Theater Arts for like 7 years, from 2006 to 2013. And studying both as a singer and an actress, and working on her bel canto training. She's performed with top orchestras all over Russia. She's also performed in Carnegie Hall in New York and San Diego, at a host of different concert halls in Rome. She divides her time between Rome and Moscow. And she's done a fair number of recordings of specifically contemporary music. So this is a top soprano teaming up with a top organist from the Moscow Conservatory. They'll do pieces like Monteverdi's Salve Regina, Che Arespexit soprano aria from the Magnificat by Bach. They'll be doing fragments from the Parish Mass by Francois Couperin. Some of these will just be organ. It's always a mix of organist and organ with the solo in these mixed concerts there. A couple of arias from Bach, Bete aber auch dabei from Cantate number 115, Seufzer Tränen from Cantate number 21, Leon Bohlmann's Prayer in Toccata from the Gothic Suite, etc. And they'll be finishing up finally with Irina Yusupova. She's a contemporary composer, so you can see Natalia Pavlova's interest in contemporary music. Two pieces by Irina Yusupova, who was born in 1962, Ave Maria, and they'll finish up with Yusupova's Salve Dolce Vergine. Another fine concert this week. Natalia Pavlova. Then we have one of the usual weekly concerts. I'll just tell you about it briefly. Coming from San Diego, it's at 10 o'clock every Sunday in Europe, 1 o'clock in San Diego, which is where it's located. Friday, August 15th, the St. Paul's Episcopal Church San Diego live streams its usual weekly concert with the ever-engaging and articulate Canon Martin Green. They never tell us what he's going to be playing. It's at 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the evening in Europe. But it's always an interesting selection of older and newer composers, American and European composers, and he gives excellent explanations of what he's playing and why he finds it musically interesting. Great guy, Martin Green. That organ was a Aeolian Skinner organ installed in 1969, or rebuilt from an early organ that's been around since the 1800s, and then rebuilt again in 2012 by Quimby Pipe Organs, Opus 68. It has 4 manuals, 98 stops, 86 ranks, 115 draw knobs, and just short of 5,000 pipes. We have 2 more live streams coming up for you this week on the weekend. The next one will be on Saturday, and that, again, is coming from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, the 3rd of their live streams this week. There's the organist who is, that's Alexei Shevchenko. Saturday, August 16th, Baroque specialist Alexander Listratov on the cello and organist Alexei Shevchenko perform a program drawing upon works from Bach and Moyer to Sibelius and César Franck, among others. That's at 7 in the evening European time, 1 o'clock your Saturday afternoon on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and 8 o'clock in Moscow. Listratov is a top cellist who's part of a group called the Golden Age in Moscow, and Alexei Shevchenko is too. So they'll be doing music by Bach, Chopin, Liszt, Franck, Sibelius, Scriabin, and others. But on the Baroque side, they're doing what are they doing? They're doing. Let me find the piece by Bach that they're doing. Can I find it? Yeah, they're doing a choral partita, Sei gegrüßet, Jesu gütig, in G minor for organ, BWV 768. But then they're also doing some Jean-Baptiste Barrière, who was a contemporary of Bach, 1707 to 1747. This is pure Baroque. Sonata in E minor, Opus 1, number 3, for cello and basso continuo in E minor, and a sonata in B minor, Opus 1, number 1. And then a bunch of other pieces, a piece by Chopin as arranged by Franz Liszt, Prelude in E minor, Opus 28, number 4 for organ, César Franck's Chorale number 3 in A minor for organ, Sibelius theme and variations in D minor for solo cello. So everybody gets to show off a little bit in this concert. 2 top guys having a great time at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. Absolutely worth tuning in for. Those concerts in that cathedral are always lovely. There's a certain gang of people that always show up. And you'll always find them in the chat room there, and they all know a whole lot more about music than I do. I'll tell you that. Before I finish with this, let me give you the picture of the cellist. Not that it changes anything, but you just might want to see the guy that's going to be playing it if I can find it, and I can't find it. So we move on to Sunday. Life just flows along, folks. Okay. Sunday, August 17th, the Ely Cathedral's weekly organ recital features the home director of music at the Ely Cathedral, Edmund Aldhouuse, playing, we're not sure what music, but it's very likely to have French strains, among other things. That'll be Sunday at 6:15 in the evening, European time, a little after noon on the East Coast, a little after 9 on the West Coast. The thing about Edmund Aldhouuse, who's the director of music there at the Ely Cathedral, is that he got a lot of his training as an organist. He's all grown up now, but he got a lot of his training as an organist at the conservatory at Rouet-Malmaison. Near Paris, and that is where where if you're an organ specialist, that's one of the conservatories in France that you want to go to. And so he has a particular interest in improvisation and French music, and has done a lot of performances of collected works of Messiaen and Marcel Dupré, things along those lines. So you can expect him to probably play some music from that terrific French tradition on Sunday. As for the organ, it's a Harrison and Harrison organ from 1908, restored in 1974-75, and restored again in 1991 and 2001. Folks, that's what we have for you this week in terms of organ recital and organ concert live streams. I hope that one, more, some, or any of these concerts inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And personally, I think that Ave Maria concert with Natalia Pavlova is going to be excellent, but also that Wednesday evening concert with Olga Egorova, the terrific mandolin player. That's not something that I would want to miss, because she's a really top mandolin player. She's the only mandolin player I have ever heard of who has actually composed a symphony for mandolin and organ. So that's not something you want to miss. Listen, I will be back in about a half an hour doing this week's live roundup of orchestral and chamber works. If you want to come back in a half an hour and tune into that. In the meantime, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, and we will continue to make sure that we provide you more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in the coming year. We did that last year, we're doing it this year, and there is no other channel or outfit or content creator that can make that same claim. The closest anybody can come is, we don't even consider them competitors, but there is one website which provides you with up to 150 live streams a year, and we give them credit for that. But that leaves about 900 others that you don't know about if you only go through that one website. We cover the waterfront, so you don't have to do any of the work. All you have to do is tune into us, and then we give you the live links, and you just click and go. Ciao for now. I'll be back in a half an hour's time.